called the Wailing Wall. I don't like that. I don't like that. You know, the Wailing Wall, you know what, for years, for 2,000 years, like I said, the Jewish people dreamed of being able to come here and do something so simple that we're about to do. We're about to head down and bring in Shabbat there. You know, if you could tell your great-grandparents that you're doing that, they'd be out of their minds. But you'll see when you go down there, and if you hang out for a couple hours, you know, guys don't have so much time to get back to the hotel and eating. But you see tonight, this isn't the Wailing Wall anymore. This is like the singing, dancing, full of joy wall. And what's amazing is you start seeing the people, the Jewish people, coming back to life. You know what I love about it down here? You see every single kind of Jew, right? From the Hasidic, you know, I always say, like, no one's allowed to steal this. You all have to sign non-disclosure forms here. But my idea for a great app, you'll let me know tonight, right? It's, you know how like you have birds and you have like, everyone have a bird book where it says like bloom on the head, X beak, you know, these kinds of stripes, this kind of bird. I want to have white socks, long strimal, you know, like, Vishnitzer, Chassid. But you'll see every kind of Jew, soldiers and everybody, and you know what? They all dance together and they all come together. Just to give for you guys, for the first time that you're here, just to let you know, the Western Wall is not the holiest place in the world for the Jewish people. I often hear tour guides say, you know, the Western Wall is the holiest place for the Jewish people. It's not, that's my Israeli accent, right? What does an Israeli cow say? Moo. All right, you had to be here a little bit longer. The Western Wall is not the holiest place in the world for the Jewish people. Where's the holiest place in the world for the Jewish people? Who said it? Underneath. Not underneath. On the Temple Mount, where the Golden Dome is. For thousands of years, the Jewish people, we had not one but two temples that stood there. This is the place where Abraham, you guys know that? You guys, I don't know how much Bible you know, right? But Abraham brought Isaac up here. What happened was, this was a mountain, just to give you a little bit of an overview. And King Herod, 2,000 years ago, wanted to build the temple larger. So he basically took a box and put it around the mountain, filled it with dirt, created the largest platform ever made at that time, and expanded the temple on it. So when we say the Western Wall, that was the best we had for 2,000 years. For 2,000 years, we could go up and touch it, but it's just like a retaining wall. It's like saying the best part of my car is the steering wheel. And if all you had was the steering wheel, that would be all right. But we dream about the day that we could go up there. And by the way, it says that God says, my house of prayer, my house will be a house of prayer for all people. It's not so that we could be up there. It's that the whole world, that our mission comes to shine out from here. In a couple of weeks, we have the 17th of Tammuz, where the walls of Jerusalem are destroyed. You know, they're knocked down because maybe what is inside needs to get out to the world. And that's what we're doing here. You're going to see in a little bit, it's just to watch people coming down here. They're from Nigeria, right? The whole world comes here. I'll tell you a story. You guys ready for this? Anybody too hot for this? Baruch and Chaim Shapiro were, they went through the 7 levels of hell. They survived Auschwitz. Before the war, Baruch Shapiro had 7 children. Chaim was his last son. They escaped Europe. They came here to Israel. They were brought in on the eve of the Independence War. Baruch took an apartment. Chaim was immediately taken in as a chayal, and he died in the Battle of the Roads up into Jerusalem. I have a friend who served in Lebanon, and he had him and his brother. Both of them, you know, you see when we have times of war, you see sometimes, you see these delegations moving through Jerusalem, and it's like almost like the angel of death. Like, it's usually like 2 guys in dress uniforms. You have like a Chabadnik, a rabbi, and you have a nurse. And they're holding a telegram. So my friend was serving in Lebanon, not just him, but his brother, and his parents couldn't watch it on CNN anymore. So they came here to Israel, they took an apartment. And I actually heard this story from his mother. His mother was walking out of the apartment, and one of these delegations with this letter was walking into her apartment. And she said she couldn't bring herself to go up and ask who they were there to see, but she couldn't really go shopping either. So she followed them into the apartment building and followed them into the elevator. She said the longest moment of her entire life was waiting to see which floor they pushed. They pushed 6. She lived on the 7th, so both of her sons were alive, but Danny Bar Kokhba, who lived in the apartment directly underneath him, had been killed in action. They say when they brought this letter to Baruch Shapiro, he just crumbled it up in his hands. He knew, there was so long here in Israel, there were families where they would have weddings and the bride would have, 200 people and the groom side would have 3 or 4 people. No one was left. The IDF is amazing when it comes to if they have a fallen soldier, they'll do anything for them, for the family. Baruch Shapiro had one request. He wanted his son to be buried in Yerushalayim. It's in the middle of a war, 1948. They said they'll try and do it. And when word got out that this Holocaust survivor, his last remaining son, was being buried on Har Herzl, 200 people showed up at the funeral, including Yigal Yadin, our first Minister of Defense. So I read this actually on Yom HaZikaron, our Memorial Day. It's a story that they reposted from 1948 from the Jerusalem Post. As they're burying Chaim Shapiro, Baruch Shapiro's last son, he starts singing. So everyone realizes, okay, you can understand where someone could snap in a situation like that. Someone brings him a glass of water, Yigal Yadin says, Seder. And then he pushes everyone away, and finally he addresses the crowd. He says, I know you all think I've gone mad, but I want to tell you something. This is my last son. This is the last member of my family in the world. We were born in Poland. Never in our wildest dreams, Jerusalem, in our wildest dreams, we never thought we would be here. And if he couldn't make it here in life, he at least is buried here in death. That's not a reason to mourn, that's a reason to dance. And it's reported in the Jerusalem Post in June of 1948 that 200 Jews danced around the grave of a fallen Chayal on Mount Herzl, our military cemetery. The trip that we're about to take down to the Western Wall is for all of those people that did what we couldn't dream of doing. A simple trip down here that we're not just walking down there by ourselves, we're walking down there with every Chaim Shapiro. The street that goes down there, right, is named Yehuda Halevi Street. Yehuda Halevi was, anybody know him? He was a poet. I am in the west, but my heart is in the east. He made it just over to that mountain right there before he was killed by a Crusader knight in the 15th century. For 2,000 years we've dreamed about coming down there, and we're about to do it right now. I wanted to bring you guys up here, show you this. This is a Kodak moment if there ever was one. Check it out, and we're going to go down, we're going to light candles, and then we're going to walk down to the Western Wall and dance and sing with all of the Jewish nation and bring in Shabbat in Jerusalem. It's an honor to do it with you guys. It's your first times here. Oh my gosh.